I honestly did not care whether I lived or died. But now, I can...
You think if he... you think if he didn't go to death row, would he still be alive?
Wow. It's hard to say.
I can't leave until this is straight. You know, I'm not... I can't go until y'all really know what time it is.
For 3 whole decades, everyone believed one simple version of what happened to Tupac. But that story is now being challenged by the person who probably knew him best in the world, his own brother, Mop. Mop is going on television and telling everyone that the story we've all heard is not true. When the people interviewing him bring up Diddy and how he says he had nothing to do with it, Mop doesn't hold back. He makes it completely obvious that he does not believe Diddy is innocent at all.
What did he say that day when he called you?
You know, I have my guys with me, Thug Life guys, and we heard what he had to say. He basically said he
Mop reveals that he once told Diddy directly that the real truth would eventually be revealed. This happened way back in 2008, when Diddy called Tupac's family out of the blue to tell them he wasn't involved. All these years later, Mop is still looking for answers about what really happened to his brother. Think about what that means. If Mop truly believed the police's official story, he would have moved on with his life. The fact that he is still searching proves he thinks there is a lot more to the story.
I get the feeling quite strongly that you don't believe Diddy. I don't think you believe a word of it.
Seems like he got a whole bunch of power, like absolute power.
Mop is very smart and chooses his words carefully when he speaks publicly. He doesn't shout or make wild accusations, but even with his careful language, it is completely clear that he has zero trust in Diddy. Another important point is when Mop is deciding to speak up. Right now, Diddy is facing huge, serious problems with the law. Because of this, people who were scared to talk before are finally feeling brave enough to come forward and share what they know.
The boy Puffy called me though. Puffy called me back in the day. He called me, he was like, I just want you to know I ain't have nothing to do with your brothers. You know, I know who you are, but we never met.
Let's really think about that strange phone call from 2008. If a person is truly innocent, why would they call the family of the victim so many years after it happened? It seems like Diddy was hearing the rumors connecting him to Tupac's death and he was getting nervous. He called Mop specifically to deny any involvement in anything. Mop didn't argue with him, he just gave a simple, powerful reply: the truth always comes out. And now, all these years later, with Diddy's world falling apart because of his legal issues, it looks like Mop's prediction is finally coming true.
We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there.
This brings us back to the big question. If Diddy had nothing to hide, what was the point of that call? It really feels like he was trying to control the story and stop people from talking. But you can't stop the truth forever. Just like Mop said it would, the truth is starting to surface. We now know that federal investigators have gotten their hands on some very old evidence. This includes secret tapes recorded by the police where a person being interviewed mentions Diddy's name over and over again in connection with the shooting of Tupac.
Shug looks over, he sees you.
Yeah.
He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looks at me.
So what is on these secret tapes? A man named Keefe is heard talking to the police, and he makes a bombshell claim. He says that Diddy offered to pay him millions of dollars to kill Tupac. These tapes were kept hidden and forgotten about for decades, all while Diddy's fame and fortune grew. But now that he is in serious legal trouble, this old evidence is suddenly new again, and it could be the key to finally solving the case.
Puffy called and said, "Was that us?" And you didn't say nothing.
I didn't say nothing. Yeah, you're right.
There's also, you go into the book, that apparently there was supposed to be $1 million.
Recently, federal agents raided Diddy's houses. They were mainly looking for proof of the new crimes he is accused of. But during their search, they found something unexpected and very strange: files with the word Cuba on them. This is incredibly interesting because for years, there has been a wild theory that Tupac never actually died that night. Some people believe he managed to escape and is living in Cuba. It's worth noting that Tupac's own aunt has lived in Cuba for a long time. There was even a former bodyguard who once came forward and said he was the one who helped Tupac get to Cuba. But then, that bodyguard mysteriously disappeared and was never heard from again.
Tupac Shakur didn't actually die in '96 and is still alive and well.
That bodyguard who disappeared also claimed that the leader of Cuba at the time gave Tupac protection and kept him safe. I know this sounds like something from a crazy movie, but now we have to take it more seriously because we know for a fact that Diddy had files about Cuba in his house. This makes you wonder, did Diddy know something huge that he never told anyone? For many years, there have been reports from regular people in Havana, Cuba, who swear they have seen a man who looks exactly like an older Tupac. These sightings and stories have never completely gone away.
Part of Tupac's legend is that he'd been shot 5 times and survived before that fateful night here in Las Vegas in 1996. And because of that, Tupac's legacy has always been linked to Vegas.
I ain't the killed Tupac, I'm the protected Tupac. Yeah. But at the same time, bitch ass Puffy can give him a mother star, and every rat in the world said he didn't want to kill Tupac.
That used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
Here we have a guy that said he saw Pac and took this picture, and it's trending like a on internet.
So, those files about Cuba that they found in Diddy's house are a really, really big deal. Think about it. If those papers show that he was talking to people in Cuba or even sending money there, it could mean something huge. It could mean that Diddy knew a secret that almost no one else did, that Tupac might actually still be alive. This wouldn't just be about hiding a crime anymore. This would be about keeping a massive secret from the entire world for decades. If the government investigators can read through everything in those files, it could totally change the story of what we think happened to Tupac back in 1996. And when you look back at what happened after the shooting, a bunch of strange little things start to stand out. For instance, the official report from the doctor had the wrong height and the wrong weight for Tupac. That seems like a pretty basic mistake to make for someone so famous. Then, the person whose job it was to handle his body after he died retired right after it happened and completely disappeared from public life. Plus, even though the shooting happened on a street full of people, nobody ever came forward who could clearly describe the shooter. And Suge Knight, who was right in the car with Tupac and got shot too, has even said in interviews that Tupac isn't really gone. When you start to collect all of these small, weird details and put them together, it really makes you stop and wonder if the story we've all been told for 30 years is actually the truth. What's happening with Diddy right now, with all his major legal problems, makes these old stories and theories feel a lot more possible. The government is now officially saying that he wasn't just running a famous music company, but that he was actually running a criminal organization. They claim he used blackmail, which means he had dangerous information on people, to control them and force them to stay quiet. If he was powerful enough to do things like that in recent years, it makes you ask, what was he capable of back in the 1990s when he was first becoming famous? This could finally explain why some of the important witnesses in the investigation into Tupac's death suddenly disappeared or stopped talking to the police. It could be why the original investigation didn't seem to get anywhere. The same scary methods he used to silence people back then might be the exact same methods he was still using all this time. Finally, think about what it would take to help someone as unbelievably famous as Tupac just disappear. It wouldn't be a simple thing. It would be a huge, complicated operation. You would need a lot of money, you would probably need help from people in other countries, and you would need many, many people to all agree to keep the secret forever. If the theory is true that Tupac went to Cuba, then it would have to involve their government agreeing to help. Keeping a secret this big for 30 years means that anyone who knew about it would have to be too scared to ever talk about it. So, those Cuba files might not just be about proving Tupac is alive. They could open the door to a giant conspiracy, a secret plan, that is so much bigger than the music industry and goes further than anyone ever thought. So, what do you think about all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you're loving the tea we're spilling, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. I'll see you on the next one, because trust me, the next video is going to be a real jaw dropper and it's already loading.